PFL Featherweight and self-proclaimed badman, Bubba Jenkins. How is preparation for PFL 4?
I'm not self-proclaimed. I hear a lot of people call me the bad man. Matter of fact, I forget my name so much because they call me handsome or the bad man. So this ain't me self, but they definitely know the bad man is true, man. I'm feeling good, man. In the PFL bubble, excited. 6-7 days out from weigh-ins and the fight, and I'm ready to go. I'm happy about the opportunity that we have to put on another show on ESPN and just all the cool stuff that's going on with PFL.
Let's very quickly touch on your last fight, the unanimous decision win over two-time champion Lance Palmer. I think first and foremost, what I would like to ask is, scale of 1 to 10, how happy were you with that performance?
9.6. 9.6. I wanted, let's go with a 9 because I told everybody I was going to knock him out. I wanted that knockout. At some point I was looking for it and a little bit chasing it. And then once I realized that, he's going to turn me into a liar, I was going to go ahead and just, be mature about it. And if you want to lose 1-0, we can lose 1-0. If you want to get blown out, you can get blown out. All the ways you want to lose is available to you. And that was the options that I was giving him. But I wanted to go in and get a win by, dominating fashion with the ultimate cherry on top, and that's putting them unconscious. But, we got the W in dominating fashion. All 3 judges saw all 3 rounds, all bad man's ways. So you really can't speak other than that. And, I'm not a perfectionist, but I definitely want to do better than talked about.
Is there any added incentive in the PFL, this early part of the PFL tournament, where you need finishes for more points? Is that something that goes in?
There's definitely an incentive because right now I'm not qualified for the playoffs. I beat the champion in handily fashion, but if someone who lost in the first round gets a knockout, they have more points to me as far as the head-to-head challenge goes. So it's really strategic as far as having to get the dominating wins in dominating fashion. You have to dominate. Close fights, I guess, won't let it go, won't make it happen in that manner. Other than maybe Palmer getting a knockout, I beat him head to head, so I would win the tiebreaker. Someone who lost in the first round who had to get a knockout. You might know more information about that, but those are the guys that I'm really looking at. I'm the last 45er on the card to fight, so it gives me that ability to understand, okay, what do I need? I'm obviously looking for the quick 6, baby. I need that quick 6 like I needed my last breath, because it is the thing that shocks the world. It is what puts the fans in the stands. It is what lets people know that, this is the new and the new craze or whatever. So, you get knockouts, you really up your credibility, you up your speaking, you up your notoriety. It's a beautiful thing to get knocked out. Plus, people are scared of you after that. If I start eating Palmer in devastating fashion and then knock out the next man, people know that I'm not to be played with.
I was going to ask that because you are, as you mentioned, the last featherweight fight of the night. Will you be watching the other fights? Because if so, you will know what you need to do to qualify.
I'm not sure I'll be watching the other fights, but I'll be knowing what's going on. I'll be in knowledge of. Before the fights, I'll have an understanding as the next 6 days happen. Excuse me. I'll have an understanding of what I want. What we want. It's great to be the number 1 seed. Unless you feel like the number 4 seed is a matchup problem for you, or however they want to phrase it, plays it. It's all about the chess and strategic strategy behind it. All I know is I'm going to win the moments that are in front of me. I'm going to knock them out when I can knock them out. I'm going to beat them where I can beat them and let the rest fall under that.
I just wanted to ask one question about the Palmer fight, because as I mentioned, a lot of I wouldn't even say animosity, a little bit of trash talk on your end, and it obviously plays out as you predicted. But I want to ask you an honest question. Do you think the fact you were in Lance Palmer's head, or do you think the performance was solely your skill set versus his, if you like?
It's everything about me. The things that I speak are not trash talk if I'm speaking truth. Like,
Yes.
they got to show me where I was trashing or speaking negatively against something that I truly believe. Like, people get that confused. There are some people who are saying delusional things just to get the crowd involved. I am not delusional in what I'm saying. I'm speaking straight facts. I mentioned that I beat him often in the past. And let's not look to what happened in the past. Well, exactly what I said, exactly played out, exactly how I said it would. Period. And I'm not one that just speaks to just talk. I'm a king. I speak, I declare, and I decree, and these things come to pass. I'm not the same as these mouthy, loud. I didn't get played. I crawled, I climbed, I fought my way to this moment. I knew killing the bear and killing the lion would get me ready for the giant. I knew these things would be here. And I have killed the bear. I have killed the lion. Now I've beaten the champion in this organization, and I'm not satisfied. I'm hungrier like I never ate. I'm coming with a tsunami type wave, and I'm going to land on everybody they put in front of me.
Apologies if that was a bad choice of words. What I meant by that is you were talking a little bit, but as you mentioned, everything you said did come true, and I will attest to that.
No, I just get that out there, not even for you, but for people who see my personality and people who see me as just a shit talker or a trash talker. No, if you hear what I'm saying, it helps that I'm selling the fight. It helps that I'm saying that are clever, smooth, articulate, and just bad man. Like, that's who I am. I speak in quotes, baby. You can't listen to me and not get inspired or motivated or want to do something after I get done talking. I'll take 10 men and run through 100. That's how I do. I've been the captain of every team I've ever been a part of. I've been the leader of every team I've been a part of. As a matter of fact, as a fight team owner, I am not only the coach with Dewey Cooper as my fight team, but I'm also one of the fighters. So I'm literally the captain of the team with having Dewey as the front head or the leader in a sense. I know the roles that I've played. I know the mantle that I carry. I'm the authoritarian. You can't look at me and tell me I ain't real. You look in my eyes, you hear my voice, everything about me is what it's supposed to be. And that's authentic.
Yeah, 100%. Let's move a little bit on from past to present, if you like, and let's talk about this fight coming up. So, as we mentioned, PFL 4, you will be facing Bobby Moffett in the last fight of the featherweight tournament, featherweight bracket. First and foremost, it is an opponent change. So, talk to me a little bit about getting the fight changed to Moffett.
Yeah, man, it's a bit weird, getting the opponent changed, and we really don't know who the alternates are. So they're like, "Oh, you got an opponent change," and the alternate was, and it's like, well, I would love to know who the possible alternates are and things like that, because they can just make up anyone and bring anyone from anywhere, which I felt is, a little bit of what they did here with Dizzy getting hurt. And, I was really training for the Dizzy fight and preparing for, a striker mixed grappler, but they give me a same kind of build in Bobby Moffett. I know that he's probably a little bit better of a caliber fighter than my last opponent in Dizzy, or the last requested opponent in Dizzy, because of his experience overseas and what he's done in the UFC, and just seeing all the things that he's seen and saw. So I think it's going to be a good fight for the fans.
How do you see his style playing out against yours, and where do you see potential weaknesses? I would presume wrestling would be one of them.
Yeah, the wrestling side of things, we're going to we're going to go in there and dominate him in those areas. But, as I'm becoming a mixed martial artist, people are starting to see that I can strike, I can kick, I can do it all. I'm trying to knock everybody out. Stop playing. I'm trying to knock everybody out. But if it comes down to grinding them out and cheese grating them against the fence and just, working it down that way, one way or the other, I'm going to finish this guy. And I think the styles match up very well. He likes to come forward, and that plays more to my advantage, because I'm one that likes to get that bite down on that mouthpiece. Let's get that thing going. Let's bang it out. And when I wanted that for Palmer, he kind of kept on his bike and kept moving. So I think this guy might come and stay in front of me a little bit. He's a little bit taller and longer reach, so he's going to be trying to pop his jab and do some things to me with my short stature, or my shorter stature. I ain't gonna say short stature. I'm short over here, baby. But it's just with my stature, different things, but I like the way it was going to play out. I've seen this fight in my head a couple of times, and I got some plans.
Obviously, this Moffett's last two fights have been in the UFC. So, have you had the chance to watch them, and maybe what have you seen in them close defeats in the UFC?
Fight against the southpaw Asian guy. I'm not sure if it was in the UFC or not, but I did see the fight against a fight that he lost against a southpaw opponent, and I don't know how long ago it was, but my skills match up very well to the opponent who beat him. And I'm an athlete, so I can imitate any kind of motion. I can be Tyrone Woodley in imitation, or I can be Wonder Boy's in imitation. It really doesn't matter. I adapt to the road that I'm driving on. So depending on the lumps, bumps, curves, and turns, I'm gonna do what I does and ride that wave. But I'm excited about his prowess in all areas. He's a good striker. He's a good wrestler. He's a good submissionist. He's got a ton of wins by guillotine and darce and things like that. So we got to be understanding of the seasons and times we're in with him when we're in there. I don't know if we're going to be too much smiling at the camera with him on our neck.
There's a couple of Bravo chokes on his record, I believe, about 4 or 5 Bravo chokes, memory serves.
What is a Bravo choke?
I think it's a variation of a darce. I think it's a different way you interlock the fingers.
All right. Well, that's all right. That's one thing to look for. I'm gonna look out for that Bravo choke. But at the end of the day, I'll take a bow and I'll be getting the Bravos. But nonetheless, we are gonna have a formidable opponent, and we're excited about it.
Of course. Now, something I wanted to mention that I've spoke to some of the guys from the PFL, and it's quite rigid structure that you guys have, whereby you have a rough idea of when you're going to fight and when you're scheduled to fight and all of that. Is that something that you like? Maybe knowing that when potentially your next fight could be, and you can almost camp around that?
Absolutely. Everybody likes to know when their next opportunity to make a living is. You know what I mean? Like, if a rapper drops an album, then I'm saying they want to know the next opportunity they can to tour. If a doctor does a heart surgery, and depending on him getting paid for that heart surgery, they want to know when the next heart surgery is. The fact that I'm a fighter, and I get paid to fight, I want to know when the next fight is. That's how I make my living, So it is a beautiful thing now in my career that I can see the next fight. Last couple of years of my career was like, I'm hoping I'm fighting, I'm guessing I'm fighting, I just got off a win, and it's been some time. So when's the next fight? It was just a little bit weird. But, organizations have a lot of fighters, and, I believe the world being bigger in mixed martial arts makes, each organization have more ability to have more fights and more entertainment for the combat world. This world's getting small, and as social media is bringing everything together, the fight game's picking up.
Of course. Now, something I did want to ask is, obviously after this round, only 4 men will be left standing. You of course will be one of them, but I'm sure you'll agree. But who if you had to bet, who are the other 3 who join you in the semi-finals?
If I had to bet, well, I'm gonna probably see Brandon, because I like his matchup with is he going against Wade or Diamond? I think he's going against
Diamond.
Yeah. Both of those guys have a win.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's loser leaves.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Both of those guys have a win. Oh, it's not loser leaves, because Diamond could beat him. And have 6 points. Have 3 points off for the win, and he would have 6 points, and Lockney would have 6 points, but they would lose in a head-to-head. I know it's going to be the Russian. The Russian's got, Shayman Morales, who I know for a fact doesn't have the best wrestling defense, nor is coming off of, the greatest camp being was devastatingly knocked out. So he comes in at his best at a 7.5, 8, because just so recently he got clocked. So we will watch that fight. I believe the Russian will win that. Me, the Russian, Brandon, and I guess it would be Wade. But
that's probably the smart pick, isn't it? Yeah, when you think about it.
Yeah. When you think about it, yeah. But I'm confident in fighting the Russian, fighting Wade, fighting Brandon. To me, bring them on. Come this way. You got to come see me. You got to come deal with the man that's here. You got to come deal with the man here. You got to come deal with the man that's there. And if we all are combined, you got a real problem. You got a real problem. I don't know how to be confident without giving off this aura of like cockiness. But I know something they don't. I have a secret that they don't. They are not me.
Perhaps the branding of you being cocky is simply just a lack of good vocabulary from the casual fan.
You got that accent. Where are you from?
I'm from Liverpool.
Yeah. You like Lockney. You like Brandon. You're rooting for him.
I'm not rooting for anyone, but believe me, I'm not rooting for anyone. That's part of the job, is being impartial.
Yeah, no, I think he's tough. He, being from your part of the country or your part of the world, they fancy themselves to get better. He's like, no one has seen my wrestling. But listen, bro, you're from an area that doesn't have wrestling. Like don't tell me how great your wrestling is just because you know moves.
Yeah.
Like, I know how to hit every combination out there, but it ain't gonna be done in a fight so efficiently. Just because you have wrestling moves in practice don't mean you can complete those things on me in the match, in the fight, while I'm punching on your ass. Yeah. So there comes this understanding that, if you don't have the base of wrestling, it'll be a little bit of a trouble. I'm actually excited to see Diamond and Lockney because of the wrestling aspect to it. Both claim they know a little bit of wrestling. One actually was a wrestler. Might even have a wrestler's tattoo. That little America sign with the suplex guy in the middle of it. That's the common, like, oh, I wrestled before, and I just, whatever about those tats. But it's exciting. I got the Russian. I got Wade. I got Lockney, and I got me.
Yeah, I think that it mustn't be a very nice scenario.
I thought Wade.
Yeah. It was a close fight, definitely. Yeah, very much a close fight.
I looked at that fight 2 or 3 times after watching Dizzy, preparing for Dizzy, and I just don't know how he lost that fight. I don't know how they give Wade that fight. But listen, I'm okay with it. Especially, I put up 6 right here, and he squeezes his way into the rounds, or he squeezes his way into the victory. He gets his little measly 6 points. Hey, 1 versus 2 or 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3, whatever it's going to be, let it be what it is.
Is there anyone who's currently on 0 points who you look at as a potential threat, could get a first or second round finish and be right in there with you boys on points already?
Say it again.
Is there somebody of the 5 guys who are on 0 points at the moment who you look at and think they could get an early finish and be right up there? Or do you see them as being in a big disadvantage?
I think Palmer can get a knockout, a finish. I think he's going to go in there, ground them out, grind them down, and get his finish. I don't know. I don't know who lost. I don't really look at the losers. So, I think Lazar is out from getting hurt. I think Shaman has a tough task ahead of him. They didn't really give Shaman any favorites. They didn't do him any favors as they entered him into the fight tournament. So, I don't see anybody in other than Palmer being able to, the fighters in the first round really separated themselves. I believe the better fighters separated themselves, and you kind of have a more a clearer picture of who's going to do what, and where it's going to happen at. So, that's why I feel like the 4 fighters that we have, or the 4 fighters that I'm, thinking about. Let me go with 3. Me, the Russian, and Lockney. Me, the Russian, and Lockney. I don't see, the rest of them, slide in how you can slide in. But you know what I'm saying? I think honestly it's a tough fight for the guys who took losses and the guys who are brand new. That they're at a massive disadvantage. The guys who didn't have that first round to live off of. You have to get a knockout, or you literally just came for the one fight. But I guess it's cool too, because I mean, if you're not in the tournament, it's much like a UFC event. You just come for the fight, you get your check, and you go home. You wait for the next year.
Let's talk about checks, because at the end of this, I know it's incremental. I do understand that, but at the end of this tournament, someone will be crowned as the £1 million tournament winner. Have you got anything in mind you'd like to buy?
Pound. It's dollars.
Sorry,
$1 million.
My mistake. Pound is actually more than $1 if memory serves. Yeah,
it is. I wish it was £1 million. Yeah. Don't be trying to get me all hyped. Don't sell me on a good time.
Apologies, Bubba. Apologies. $1 million tournament winner. Have you got anything in mind you want to buy with that potential £1 million purse?
I'm going to buy financial security for the rest of my life. There is no purchase that I'm definitely going to invest in some gold. I know y'all see me shining. Shane, I'm all pretty up, wouldn't I? Shout out to My House Jewelers, my sponsor. But for real, man, I'm going to buy financial security. I'll never be broke again once I win this millions of dollars. I'm going to invest smartly, going to be looking at the cryptocurrency, Bitcoins and things like that. I'm going to invest wisely. I know that I look like this hood ass black guy, the rapper that likes to throw money and get bitches and fuck hoes and do all this crazy shit. But honestly, bro, I don't live that kind of lifestyle. I got 3 beautiful children. I'm looking to buy a home. Of course, that's going to be on the menu. But I'm looking to do that before December, obviously. So, the things that I have planned for the millions of dollars are simply a part of my already built portfolio to never be broken again. I told myself when I was young, I'm going to be in the NBA. I didn't know that it wasn't the National Basketball League, but when I was young, I said NBA, and that's a place of never broke again. That's the NBA I'll be playing for.
Well, it must admit, considering some of the discussion around fight to pay in MMA, it's a beautiful opportunity, isn't it? That as you mentioned, you guys get the opportunity.
Isn't it sad though? That's a little bit sad that the fight game, one of the biggest purses in it is winning 5 fights for the $1 million, when you get the YouTuber who fights nobody for absurd amount of money. I don't know how to change it. I don't know what to do about it, but it's so crazy. It's wild that the real grinders, the real fighters, the authentic, it's not just boxing. It's not just jiu-jitsu. It's not just kickboxing. It's not just Muay Thai. It's not just wrestling. It is all of these sports combined into one grand, don't blink, don't look away. When you see 2 badass fighters standing across from each other, there's nothing more exciting than that. How can you not want to pay the ultimate dollar to reward these warriors? And that's where I get a little bit of my frustration and a little bit of my blessing from knowing that, I have a great contract and I have a great team behind me that has done some good things to help me get to a place of not feeling like I'm beating myself up for pennies. We have a future to look after. We have things we want to do later in life. And there are so many fighters that are still having to work a job after having an entire career of greatness. Name another profession that has an entire career of greatness like that, that is in the public eye to where they see you on TV and they think you're a millionaire, that actually has, most of the guys would not like to trade bank accounts with these fighters. There are some people on the couch like, man, he's probably getting paid. Oh, he won the $50,000, not knowing that, like, bro, you got so many people to pay and so many people that have helped you and trainers and coaches and people. I mean, it's a wild thing to have us fighters still struggling in the age of everyone wanting to be known as a warrior or a fighter.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It was always something that I was aware of, and then starting this project now and speaking to you guys and understanding, the inner dynamics of that. It's to be quite candid, it's a disgrace that you guys aren't financially secure after a career, and I'll be first person to say that.
Yeah, it's a disgrace that we are not financially secure after a long, endeavorous career, for sure. But that will not be my plight.
Superb. Well, for one final question, Bubba, let's turn back to the fight at hand. What happens when you're locked in there? with Bobby Moffett next week?
I get the 6 points. I end the weekend with 9 points, and I go into the tournament as the number 1 seed. That's what happens. I get the 6 points. I end up having 9 points completed total, and I go into the PFL playoffs as the number 1 seed and the man to beat.
Superb. Well, I won't ask you for any more than that because that was a very precise prediction, and I very much thank you for that.
My man, appreciate you, dog. Sorry for the mix-up matchups. I appreciate you staying true to it and getting the interview done, dog. You're real.
I very appreciate your time and very much appreciate you working with me. Before you go, Bubba, how can people find you on social media?
Yeet. I'm Bubba Jenkins on social media everywhere. Bubba_Jenkins on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I don't have no other platform. I think I'm on Snapchat, but I don't go to it. So snap me if you want, but I might not see it. I'm hearing about this TikTok wave, but I don't know. We gonna see what the young kids is doing, but you don't ever chase the cats. If you bring the fish and open it up, the cats will come. So, I ain't really worried about this whole social media thing. I got what everybody's looking for. And if you want to find me, come see me.
And if before we finish, I give this opportunity to every one of my guests. Is there anything you would like to say or sign off with? So the floor is yours.
Bad man. He not gonna play. That's it.
That's an original way to sign off. Normally it's a thank you from my sponsors or thank you to my family, but I appreciate your
originality.
All
right, homie. Good talks.
Have a great day today, Bubba.